Hello and welcome back to Raised by Giants, where we talk all things spirituality. I'm Ryder Lee. Tonight we are going to do something a little different because I had a guest planned for today and some things happened that I would rather not get into too many coincidences. And I believe this whole thing has been about what I was going to reveal in that interview. And so I'm just going to tell it to you now. And, this gets into some really dark stuff. And I'm being 100% serious. And I had to do this to get to the truth. This is no joke. I am being 100% right now, though I have absolutely no proof. And it all has to do with the SSP and my investigating of the truth. So to start this story off, we have to go back a little bit. And we know that the Germans have had highly advanced technology since World War II. The breakaway German group fled to Antarctica with their advanced craft and technology after the war in 1945. Then Robert C. Byrd went to Antarctica with his naval fleet in 1947. The Germans demolished him and his fleet and then flew their craft over the White House. There are tons of pictures of craft over the White House in 1952. It was known as the Washington Flap for anyone interested. But also in 1947, we had the Roswell crash, right? But it wasn't just one craft that was recovered. There were three or more across New Mexico at the same time. And what happened was America downed those craft on purpose because they thought it was the Germans, and only to find that they were actual ETs. But the problem was they couldn't do anything with the craft because it was controlled and piloted by the occupant's mind and consciousness. And this is where the Bob Lazar story and others come into play. And this new stable element comes in. And I think that they were desperate and were at their wits' ends with trying to figure out how this technology worked, because they didn't want to be outmanned and outgunned by the Germans in Antarctica, because they knew if they couldn't figure out the technology, they'd have to make a deal with them, with the Germans. And they did. And it wasn't a deal with ETs, it was a deal with the Germans in Antarctica. And it only stands to reason and makes logical sense that if we needed the technology and we had the craft from actual ETs, but we couldn't figure it out, we would have to make a deal with the ones that could. And saying it was a contract with ETs is a way more easily explainable explanation, because you don't have to explain it. You can just make shit up. Then, saying that we signed a contract with the Germans that everyone thought was defeated and aren't around anymore. Way too much explaining to do with that one. So they made it extraordinary, and they said it was ETs and explaining it away like that. And the part of the deal was the infiltration of Germans into high levels of power within the US, Project Paperclip style, and an exchange, and also an exchange for humans for their programs. That's where the abductions come in. It wasn't actual ETs, it was the Germans from Antarctica collecting on their MyLab contracts. And they've been using our military as well for this, as well as their own. This is why a lot of the MyLab abductees, if you listen to any of them, claim to see German symbols and flags during their abduction, or German officers. And I never understood that until now. And it makes so much more sense that none of this has been about ETs. 95% of the craft that we've been seeing for decades now has been us. Not us as in the US per se, but us as in humans. This is why the craft scene in the mid 50s to late 60s, all the way up into the 90s, were all disc shaped, tin can looking craft, because that's what the technology that they were working with at that point. And now that we've advanced, we have all these exotic craft, plasma craft, morphine, cloaking tech, interdimensional drives, and so on. But there is a silver lining here, because I believe we did sign this contract, whether it was with the Germans or if it was with ETs, doesn't matter. It still happened. But I think the goal of the US was to gain this technology, play nice for a while, but secretly be planning to turn the tides at some point in the future. This is where the term, and I hate using it, and this is probably going to be the only time you ever hear me say it, which is white hats. And I believe that's exactly what we're experiencing now. We're experiencing two factions of power fighting for control. And we have this battle, this war, this unseen war. And there's a struggle, or maybe the battle or the war has already been won and we're just in the beginnings of the downfall. But the war is about technology. It's always been about technology, and has been being fought since World War II, right in front of our faces, right in front of our eyes, and continues until this day. The SSP stuff is very integral to the whole conversation about the world. This is where all of our tax dollars and money has went. This is why we haven't developed a better way of life. We're still using the same shit. The ones that's the only things that's changed has been our technology. You think, as for as much our technology has advanced over the past 3 decades, you'd think we'd figure out a better way to live, right? But no, it's been suppressed. It's gotten harder. We have damaged roads, dilapidated buildings, collapsing neighborhoods, still using power lines and gas powered fuel sources, homelessness and starving children, all because these sick people would rather put it toward developing a secret space program and highly advanced technology and space travel that we, the public, know absolutely nothing about. Slave trade, abductions, kidnapping people while gaslighting you about if it's even happening or not. This isn't ETs, folks. It's humans, greedy humans, like I've said from the start. But keep people, they can't believe that we would do this to our own people. So they have to make it about something that they can't explain and say it's aliens. It's like the meme of the guy from Ancient Aliens. I can't say for sure what it is, but it's definitely probably aliens. You know, that guy, calling anything unexplainable aliens. So this whole collapsing of everything in our world is actually about absorbing the entire earth into this SSP faction, into a technology driven AI controlled world, like they've been doing out in the solar system without us knowing. And the only way they can do it is by destroying the old and bringing in what they've already had into the open. It's evil genius, really. Now, that's not to say ETs don't exist, because they do, but they're not flying around in tin can ships. That's the deception. And the ones that did fly around in tin can ships that crashed in Roswell and other places across the planet, they were using doll bodies, doll avatar bodies, and transferred their consciousness from a higher density into an already created body that they can maneuver around within this 3D physical reality. And those are very seldom. I believe the aliens from Roswell, that was their first visit to Earth in 4,000 years or so. We just happened to catch them. They don't come here often in physical bodies. That's why contact with real, true extraterrestrials are done consciously and spiritually, not physically. The physical contact is our military and other militaries across the planet. That's what these SSP assets and people know, and certain other individuals know, but can't say outright because they have to go along with what everyone else is saying on the topic, that it's aliens. So we make it about these crazy extraterrestrial flying ships in the sky, tin can ships, because that's the most unexplainable explanation possible, because you don't have to explain it. It's just aliens. And the reason the UFO researchers never ask any deeper questions like, oh, well, who are they? What do they want? What are their planets like? What are their ecosystems like? Because it's not freaking aliens, it's us. That's why the research is at a standstill and will never be allowed to go any further. It is the military. But I just said it. You guys wanted the truth, and that is the truth. And it is the biggest deception in this community and maybe ever. They've used the ETs as metaphors. This is why people in this community for the past 2 years are saying that the reptilians are being destroyed and taken off the planet or whatever. It's not reptilians. Reptilians are a metaphor for the Germans and the way they snaked their way into actually winning the war with their superior technology and made us sign a contract with them. Everyone wants to mystify this shit and explain it away without actually explaining it because it's humans, not ETs. And if they humanize it, it becomes real. So if they can keep you looking like it's ETs, then you can ultimately be deceived. It's the oldest trick used by the CIA where they release two truths and a lie to have plausible deniability. And this is also why these mega super UFO stars in the community don't make any sense and they don't add up because they aren't telling you the truth. All of the big names in the UFO community can all be linked back to three-letter agencies, which is just a branch of the military, the DIA, the DOD, and the CIA. Richard Brody admitted counterintelligence. Lou Elizondo admitted counterintelligence. They are all there to take the conversation back to aliens when anyone figures this out. This is why the whole community is littered with these three-letter intelligence people, is to keep everyone on track about ETs and not making any connections to us, the Germans, or our military. This is what it is, folks. And people have been killed, threatened, that know this stuff to keep this from getting out. Because if it does, it completely blows their entire operation. It burns it to the ground. And I have just said it, though I have no proof. Now, the ones that have been killed and have had proof have had documentation, names, program information, details about all this stuff. But I do not. I have no proof. I am just putting two and two together here to bring you guys the truth because you deserve it. We deserve to know the truth. And I hope someone someday comes forward with the proof and can get their voice out there. But until then, this is all we got. And this is what it is. It's not aliens. It's us. And it's the biggest deception possible. There you have it, everyone. Now I can be played off like I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about because I have no proof, which is honestly perfect for me. And this is the last time I'm going to talk about any of this stuff on this show or on anyone else's show. So don't worry. It is way too deep. There's way too many things that's happening with this, and I want absolutely nothing to do with it. So don't worry. This video will be lost in the piles of other videos I produce on other topics. Just thought I would come out with my findings here and let it be. So on to the next topic. Thank you very much. And thank you for watching and listening. Much love to everyone that has watched. Please be sure to hit the thumbs up button to help the channel out. Share, subscribe, hit the bell icon as well for notifications. And remember, we're not only in a spiritual war, but a war on humanity. Stay aware, stay alert, keep loving your heart for everyone, and stay safe out there. And remember, if you can see through the illusion, you are the solution. See you guys next time.